okay. No, I can't do it better. What's on your mind, Alicia?
I have the cognitive capacity of a potato. It's like tumbleweed.
You had a big week last week.
Yeah, I had a big week. I did 7 workshops last week. The last workshop of the week, 7 out of 7, on Friday afternoon, I had a leadership team for an hour session, and we had all this stuff planned we were going to do around skilling up people leaders for leading into recovery and this kind of thing. And we got on the call, and I was exhausted, and I took one look at them and went, "Hey guys, how you going?" And they just went, and I'm like, what if we don't try to boil the ocean today, and we just focus on a couple of really practical things we can do to just keep the wheels turning? And they were like, "Oh man, that would be so good." And we had this whole conversation about decision fatigue and why we all feel like this and why it's so hard. And the number one feedback I got out of that workshop from the chief executive was, "Thank you for giving us permission to feel like this today."
We kind of hold ourselves to standards, don't we, about how we should be and what we should be spending our time doing and all these obligations. And when you have the leadership mantle on it, it can be like, oh, I need to be strategic today and I need to be, going about the vision.
My Friday morning session, I arrived and I still had a coffee in my hand, and I said, "I'm sorry, this is my second coffee and I have to finish it to be any good to you." And one of the people on the exec for that call held up a flask and went, "I brought a whole flask of coffee today."
Yeah.
What is on my mind actually that I've been focusing on this week is like back to basics. So we've been spending a few weeks being strategic and transformative and big picture and thinking really big. And what I've been doing this week, and I've been doing with all my teams this week actually, is just back to basics. Like, how do we manage our state and our space and our time so that we're okay?
Well, if you think about it, if you don't do that, you can't do anything else, right?
No.
So just do that and keep it simple.
Something I've been thinking about a lot. There we go. There's a thought. I found one. I found one. Quick, write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down. I found a thought. Something I have been thinking about is how we've all been lying to each other over the past few weeks. And we've been so you and I have been throwing rocks at the word pivot. But there's a few other jargony catchphrases that have been coming out. And one of them is new ways of working. And we keep saying, we've got new ways of working. How do we hold on to these new ways of working? And I want to call bullshit on new ways of working, because 90% of the people that I'm working with are working exactly the same way in front of a computer. And the only thing that's new about it is it's harder, because sitting on Zoom for 8 hours a day is way harder than sitting in an office. So there are no new ways of working here. We are still trying to jam our normal lives in.
I saw a great LinkedIn post about that by Jeremy Dean, actually, who's the founder of the
Emotional Culture Deck.
And I thought he had a really good take. He says it's actually not Zoom fatigue that you and I were talking about last time. It's more that it's meeting fatigue. And
yes,
it's this whole bang meeting, bang, and it's just go. And that's the thing that is exhausting, because that hasn't changed. And it's just added on top is that we're doing it in front of a computer and we change our desks. I thought that was a really useful insight.
And it's so much harder in front of the computer, because we have all this, we're trying to look into the camera and we can't check out, and we don't have all of the vibey, energy, body languagey stuff that makes it okay to be in a room. So we've lost all that. And we don't even walk between meeting rooms, Digby.
Yeah.
We just push 2 buttons and we're in another one.
Yeah. I noticed how many people were responding to our last podcast about that, saying walking meetings, right? And I do get on the phone. I've been on the phone a lot more this week than I was before, and I'm walking while I'm doing it. And I love that idea. And why not? Just find different ways to break it up.
Okay, but what's the next frontier though? Because that's still taking the same ways of working and just putting some of it on the phone. Because I've been doing that too, trying to do the walk and talks. But how do we can some? How do we can some of the meetings?
So I don't know about meetings, but what I've been experimenting with on and off, I broke my arm a couple of years ago and I was forced into a different way of working then because I couldn't type, right? And, I could, but it was very slow. And what I did instead was I learned how to use voice memos and email those to people. And I found myself this afternoon typing a memo, an email, And then about, just as I got to the end, I went, I could have just done a voice memo. Or there's this really great little app called Loom, where, you know, you're basically recording your screen and you can record your voice and you can record you on video, whatever, and you can just send as a link. And it's instantly available. And I'm like, I'm going to do more of that. And so it's sort of coming back to, what is the purpose of us meeting? What is the purpose of us? What is the purpose of the communication? And what is the easiest way to achieve that?
Totally. Because I'm really firm on this one. And I think if what you're doing is not communicating, if what you're doing is sharing information, you don't get to have a meeting. In fact, you don't even get to have a phone call. You have to put that somewhere else. And what I said to my team on the Friday afternoon team is I said, if you're sharing the notes from the LT meeting, and that's usually taking up 30 minutes if you stand up on a Monday, if I'm your team member, I would rather be contributing to a shared document while I'm sitting on the loo on my phone than I would be spending another 30 minutes sitting in a meeting, man. So if we really mean new ways of working, what does that actually mean for how we communicate, how we spend our time, or how we actually get to the point of making decisions? I think is the bigger question.
Totally right. Yeah, I'm thinking of setting up a bunch of one-on-one conversations over the next couple of weeks for my Changemakers tribe, just to check in with them. And then I thought, actually, why wouldn't I just invite 2 or 3 people into a little conversation? Because I can achieve 2 things at once. One is we get some sense making going on about what do we want the future of Changemakers to be about. And then the other one is about creating connection between 2 people that might not spend a lot of time together. But the 3 of us brainstormed some ideas together. I thought, that's cool. But it required me to stop and think, what do I want to achieve here? Right? So, okay, so I'm thinking I'll probably do that and experiment with it at least. But it's the deliberate experiments. Again, this is a big theme for us, isn't it? It's like, rather than be on default, try some shit out that's different. It's
being intentional. And I think when we're this tired, you can't be intentional in the moment. And so you have to set future you up to make good choices. So I've spent my Sunday, again, meal prepping, putting my week on the wall, like getting our family sorted for the week, because I know that Wednesday 3 p.m. me is going to find it really hard to be intentional about this stuff.
I like that.
So we have to do it ahead of time. It's the pre-commitment.
Yeah, I like the future you, and it's like the way I think about that is the current you is looking after the future you today, right? And that idea is like, be kind to yourself. That's a good way of doing that, thinking about that. Hey.
And it doesn't take much longer, but like you've just pointed out, it's the things of going, hey, this thing that I'm about to schedule in or say that I have to do, is there a different way of doing that would be better? Like, what's my goal here? How would I do that slightly differently? Maybe I'd do it like this. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take space. And I don't think we can expect middle of the week us to have the space. So we have to do it ahead of time.
It's the Garrick quote that I've been quoting a lot this year, which is, what's the one thing that you can do today that would make everything else easier or unnecessary in the future?
I have a Post-it note like this on my fridge somewhere. I wonder if I can find it. It's from my 10-year-old that says, do something today to help yourself tomorrow. She's so wise, this child.
That is very cool. So what is the thing you'll do today that will help yourself tomorrow?